Your barber knows everything about you. Where you work, who you're sleeping with, how much money you make. You sit in that chair every few weeks and tell him things you wouldn't tell your therapist. But what if your barber was worth $300 million? Stolen money. Cartel money. The kind of money that gets people disappeared. This isn't some Netflix fantasy. This is happening right now in a strip mall in Florida. Guy named Manuel Delgado. Everyone calls him Manny. He's been cutting hair for 15 years in the same shop. Red and white poles spinning outside. Cuban coffee brewing in the back. Looks like every other barbershop you've ever been to. Except Manny pulled off the biggest theft in cartel history. $110 million. Took it right out from under the Sinaloa cartel's nose. And the FBI. They've been chasing him for 5 years. Spent millions trying to catch him. Got nothing. You want to know the crazy part? He's still cutting hair. Same shop. Same customers. Some of those customers are FBI agents. They sit in his chair. They tip him $20. They have no idea they're getting their haircut from the most wanted man in America. Think about your barber for a second. Really think about him. Does he ask a lot of questions? Does he remember details about your life that surprise you? Does he know people all over town? Of course he does. That's what makes a good barber. That's also what makes a perfect criminal. Manny built a $300 million empire using the same skills that make your Saturday morning haircut feel personal. Trust, conversation, community connections. He weaponized small talk. And here's what should keep you up at night. He's not the only one. There are people like this everywhere. Your mechanic. Your dentist. The guy who delivers your Amazon packages. People you trust because they're supposed to be invisible. If you think stories like this could never happen in your own neighborhood, you're exactly the kind of person who needs to subscribe right now, because the next one might be closer than you think. Manny's story starts with blood on a barbershop floor and ends with the FBI admitting they're dealing with someone they've never seen before. But it really starts with understanding something most people never figure out. The best place to hide isn't in the shadows. It's in plain sight. El Corte Perfecto sits between a Botanica and a grocery store on West 49th Street in Hialeah. Nothing special about it. Concrete block building. Faded paint. The kind of place you drive past without noticing. But step inside and you get it. 3 chairs. Mirrors with gold trim. Photos of customers taped to the walls. The smell hits you first. Barbicide mixed with Cuban coffee and Old Spice. Clippers buzzing. Spanish radio playing merengue. Sounds like home to a lot of people. Manny's been running this place since 2004. Learned to cut hair from his uncle back in Bogota before his family had to leave. His parents never talked about why they left Colombia. Just said things got dangerous. You don't ask follow-up questions about that kind of dangerous. What you notice about Manny is his hands. Steady. Never shake. Doesn't matter if he's trimming around your ears or stitching up a bullet wound in his back room. Same precision. Same focus. His customers love him. Really love him. He remembers your kids' names. Asks about your job. Knows when you're stressed before you do. Charges $15 for a cut that would cost $40 in Miami Beach. Tips the old guys who can't afford it. Fernando comes in every Tuesday. Works at the port. Always complaining about paperwork and lazy co-workers. David stops by Fridays. Runs a small shipping company. Dreams of landing bigger contracts. Roberto handles customs at Port Everglades. Hates his boss. They talk to Manny like he's a priest. Tell him things they don't tell their wives. Money problems. Work drama. Who's sleeping with who? Information just flows in this place. And Manny listens. Really listens. Remembers every detail. Files it away in that calculating mind of his. See, his parents didn't just teach him about fleeing violence. They taught him about surviving it. About reading people. About positioning yourself so that when opportunity comes, even dark opportunity, you're ready to take it. Most barbers gossip, share what they hear, build community through conversation. Manny did something different. He collected names, jobs, schedules, problems, secrets, built a database in his head of everything happening in his corner of South Florida. For 15 years, he was the perfect neighbor. Sponsored little league teams, donated haircuts to homeless shelters, showed up to community meetings. Everyone knew Manny. Everyone trusted Manny. But Manny's real talent wasn't with scissors and razors. It was with people. Reading them. Using them. Understanding exactly what they needed to hear to tell him what he needed to know. He'd spent 15 years becoming invisible. Essential but invisible. The kind of person you trust completely because you never consider them a threat. Until one bloody Tuesday in July 2019, when someone stumbled into his shop and changed everything. July 23, 2019. Tuesday. Manny's cleaning his clippers when the door slams open. Guy stumbles in holding his side. Blood seeping through his white shirt. Paranoid eyes scanning the shop like someone's following him. "Help me," he says in Spanish. "Please." This is Rodrigo Herrera. Manny doesn't know his name yet. Doesn't know he works enforcement for the Sinaloa Cartel's Miami operations. Just sees a man bleeding out on his floor. Normal barber calls 911. But Manny learned field medicine from his mother back in Colombia. She patched up bullet wounds during the violence. Taught him how to clean, stitch, keep people alive when hospitals weren't an option. "Back room," Manny tells him. "Now." Gets Rodrigo on the table where he usually stores supplies. Cuts away the shirt. Bullet went clean through. Missed anything vital. Lucky. "What happened?" Manny asks, threading the needle. "Deal went bad. Had to run." Rodrigo's sweating. Shaking. "Can't go to a hospital. They'll find me." Manny starts stitching. Takes 2 hours. Rodrigo's in and out of consciousness. Pain makes people talk. Makes them say things they shouldn't. "Containers coming in next week," Rodrigo mumbles. MSC Isabella. Container MSCU 4487219-8. Worth $110 million. Manny keeps stitching. Doesn't react. Just listens. "Ernesto's gonna be pissed if we lose it. Patricia already cleared it through customs. Everything's set up." More details leak out. Ship arriving at Port Everglades. Special cargo. Only 3 people know the timing. Rodrigo, his boss Ernesto Calderon, and Patricia Wild, the corrupt customs official who greases the wheels. "What's in the container?" Manny asks. "Not what you think." Rodrigo laughs. Delirious. "Everyone expects drugs. Cocaine. Heroin. Boring. This is different. Rare earth elements. Lithium batteries. Computer chips. Stuff that powers your phone, your laptop, your electric car. Chinese suppliers shipping to Mexican cartels who flip it to American tech companies desperate for materials. 400% markup," Rodrigo whispers. "Clean money. Untraceable. Feds don't even know to look for it." See, law enforcement focuses on drugs. They know drug routes, drug patterns, drug money. But this looks like legitimate business. Shipping manifests. Import licenses. Corporate buyers. All clean on paper. Manny finishes the stitches. Bandages Rodrigo up. Gives him coffee and painkillers. All while his mind calculates. Processes. Plans. 3 people know about this shipment. One of them is bleeding on his table. One of them trusts him to keep quiet. One of them just handed him the biggest opportunity of his life. Skip subscribing now, and you'll probably be the last to know when a story like this unfolds on your own doorstep. Then you'll wish you hadn't ignored this moment. Rodrigo recovers for 3 days in Manny's backroom. Talks more than he should. Gives up container numbers. Shipping schedules. Security protocols. Trusts Manny because Manny saved his life. When Rodrigo finally leaves, he shakes Manny's hand, thanks him, promises to send business his way. Never realizes he just armed his own destruction. Manny watches him walk out, then locks the door, sits in his barber chair, stares at the bloodstains on his floor. Most people would call the FBI, report the cartel connection, play it safe. But Manny spent 15 years building relationships for a reason. Fernando at the port, David with the shipping company, Patricia who clears customs, all his customers, all his friends, all his tools. Rodrigo's gone. Manny's got the information. Now comes the hard part. Most criminals would go violent, storm the port, hijack the container, shoot their way out. That's what the cartel expects. That's what the FBI watches for. Guns, blood, chaos. Manny's smarter than that. He's got something better than weapons. He's got Fernando Gutierrez. Sits in his chair every Tuesday for 3 years. Works Port Everglades administration. Handles container transfers. Always stressed about paperwork, always complaining about his workload. Fernando trusts Manny. They talk about Fernando's kids, his divorce, his gambling problem, personal stuff, real friendship. Then there's David Kim. Friday regular. Owns a small shipping company called Ocean View Logistics. Handles overflow cargo when the big companies get backed up. Dreams of landing major contracts. Always looking for opportunities to prove himself. David respects Manny. Brings him Korean barbecue sometimes. They bond over immigrant hustle. Building something from nothing in America. 2 pieces of the puzzle. Both legitimate. Both clean. Both completely unaware they're about to commit the crime of the century. Here's Manny's plan. No violence. No theft. Just paperwork. Container MSCU 4487219-8 arrives on MSC Isabella. Patricia Wild clears it through customs like always. But instead of going to the cartel's warehouse, it gets rerouted to David Kim's facility. All legal. All documented. All routine. How? Forged shipping documents. Manny's got a customer who specializes in identity theft. High-end stuff. Fake passports, corporate registrations, shipping manifests. Charges $10,000 for a complete paper trail. Manny pays $20 for perfection. The beauty is in the volume. Port Everglades processes 15,000 containers every day. 15,000. Port officials don't memorize shipping routes. They check paperwork. If the paperwork's clean, container moves. Fernando helps expedite the transfer. Thinks he's doing a favor for his barber's friend David. Normal stuff. Happens all the time. David shows up with legitimate documentation showing container MSCU 4487219-8 belongs to his company. Signed. Sealed. Stamped. His warehouse is registered, licensed, bonded. Nothing suspicious. Container disappears into David's facility. Patricia thinks it went to the cartel. Cartel thinks it's still in customs. Everyone's waiting for someone else to move first. By the time anyone realizes what happened, containers empty. Contents liquidated. Money laundered. Trail cold. But this plan requires something most criminals don't have. Trust. Real trust. Fernando and David have to believe they're helping a friend, not committing a felony. They have to act natural because they think everything is natural. Manny sits in his chair at 2 a.m., shop dark, thinking about this. 15 years building relationships. 15 years earning trust. About to cash it all in for one score. These aren't just customers. They're friends. Good people with families. If this goes wrong, they go down too. Fernando loses his job, maybe his freedom. David's business gets destroyed. Both of them never see it coming. That's what separates Manny from street criminals. He understands the weight of betrayal. Knows exactly what he's asking these people to sacrifice. Knows they'll do it willingly because they trust him completely. Most people couldn't handle that guilt. Manny's not most people. July 23, 2019. 11:47 p.m. David Kim pulls his truck up to Port Everglades Gate 4. He's nervous. Not because he's stealing anything. He doesn't know he's stealing anything. He's nervous because this is the biggest job his company's ever handled. Could change everything for him. Security guard checks his paperwork. Ocean View Logistics. Container MSCU 4487219-8. Everything matches the computer. Waves him through. David drives into the port. Massive place. Cranes everywhere. Stacks of containers reaching into the darkness. His containers in Section C, Row 15. MSC Isabella unloaded it 6 hours ago. He finds it. Standard 40-footer. No markings. No guards. No drama. Just another box among thousands. Port forklift operator loads it onto David's flatbed. Takes 15 minutes. David signs the transfer papers. Tips the guy $20. Drives out the same gate he came in. That's it. That's the heist. No guns. No explosions. No high-speed chases. Just paperwork and a handshake. Dawn breaks as David backs the container into his warehouse in Doral. Small facility. 5,000 square feet. Legitimate business. Clean books. Everything proper. Manny shows up an hour later. Brings coffee and Cuban pastries. Acts like a friend checking on a friend's big day. David's excited. Can't stop talking about landing this contract. Thinks this could lead to bigger things. They cut the container seal together. David expects computer parts, maybe electronics. Standard tech shipment. What they find changes everything. Pallets of rare earth elements. Neodymium. Dysprosium. Terbium. Stuff most people never heard of but every piece of technology depends on. Military-grade lithium batteries. Advanced semiconductors. Components worth more per pound than cocaine. David's confused. This doesn't match his shipping manifest. Manny acts surprised too. Suggests maybe there was a mix-up. Happens sometimes with international shipping. We should report this, David says. Of course, Manny agrees. But let's inventory everything first. Make sure we know what we're reporting. That inventory takes 3 days. 3 days for Manny to photograph every component. Research every part number. Map every potential buyer. While David handles the proper channels, Manny goes to work. He's already built the network. Encrypted messaging apps. Anonymous cryptocurrency accounts. Connections worldwide. Silicon Valley startups desperate for chip components during the shortage. European manufacturers paying premium for rare earth access. Defense contractors needing lithium batteries for classified projects. You can scroll past, but when the next criminal mastermind pulls this off and everyone's talking about it, you'll be the one scrambling to catch up. Hit subscribe so you're never in the dark. Manny sells everything. Not to street dealers or drug distributors. To legitimate companies with legitimate needs and legitimate money. They think they're buying from a gray market supplier. Happens all the time in tech. Don't ask too many questions if the price is right and the components work. Bitcoin transactions. Monero transfers. Swiss bank deposits. Money moves through 12 countries in 48 hours. Gets cleaned, mixed, split, consolidated. Becomes untraceable. David never finds out what happened. Port officials tell him there was an administrative error. Container was misrouted. Happens sometimes. No blame. No investigation. Just bureaucratic confusion. Fernando processes the correction paperwork. Thinks he's fixing a clerical mistake. Never realizes he just covered up the crime of the decade. 1 week after Rodrigo bled on his floor, Manny's sitting in his barber chair with $110 million in clean, untraceable assets. Container MSCU 4487219-8 officially never existed. Shipping records corrected. Customs forms amended. Digital trail erased. Perfect crime. Perfect execution. Perfect invisibility. Now comes the hard part. Not getting caught. 3 weeks later, Special Agent Rebecca Torres gets the call. Container theft at Port Everglades. Should be routine. Cargo goes missing all the time. Usually inside jobs. Dock workers, truck drivers, warehouse guys. Find the weak link, apply pressure, case closed. Torres has been working Miami for 8 years. Seen every scam. Drug smuggling, human trafficking, money laundering. Criminals are predictable. They get greedy. They get sloppy. They get caught. This one's different. First problem. Nobody can agree whose crime this is. Container belonged to a Chinese shell company. Cargo was stolen from a Mexican cartel. Disappeared from an American port. Money probably moved through European banks. DA wants it because cartels. Customs wants it because port security. Secret Service wants it because financial crimes. ATF wants it because weapons components. Everyone's got jurisdiction. Nobody's got answers. Torres starts with the basics. Reviews port security footage. Thousands of hours. Container MSCU 4487219-8 gets unloaded normally. Forklift moves it to staging area. Truck picks it up with proper paperwork. Everything looks legitimate. She runs the truck plates. Registered to Ocean View Logistics. Clean company. Owner David Kim has no criminal history. Interviewed him twice. Guy's genuinely confused. Thinks there was an administrative mix-up. Paperwork shows he was supposed to receive different cargo. Someone used your company's credentials, Torres tells him. Impossible, David says. I handle all our contracts personally. Dead end. She interviews port workers. Hundreds of them. Nobody saw anything unusual. Nobody remembers special instructions. Forklift operator who moved the container? Retired to Puerto Rico 2 days after the theft. Convenient. Security cameras show the truck leaving through Gate 4 at 12:23 a.m. Driver wearing baseball cap, face obscured. License plate visible but legitimate. No way to identify who was actually driving. Torres expands the search. Financial records from dozen of shipping companies. Corporate registrations. Import licenses. Everything's clean. Too clean. The paperwork is perfect. Not just good, perfect. Every signature, every stamp, every routing number. Either this was an inside job at the highest levels, or someone spent serious money on serious forgeries. We're looking for professionals, Torres tells her team. This wasn't some dock worker grabbing cargo. This was planned. Sophisticated. Well-funded. But here's what bothers her. No criminal signatures. Professional thieves leave patterns. Methods. Connections to previous jobs. This came out of nowhere. 6 months in, Torres admits they're chasing ghosts. No leads. No suspects. No similar crimes to compare it to. Like whoever did this just materialized, stole $100 million, and vanished. Maybe it was beginner's luck, her partner suggests. Beginners don't execute perfect crimes, Torres says. If you think law enforcement always gets their man, you're living in a dangerous fantasy. Subscribe now or sit in the comments and explain why you'd rather stay blind to the truth. The case gets a code name, Operation Ghost Ship. Sounds dramatic. Feels hopeless. Torres interviews everyone connected to Port Everglades. Customs officials. Security guards. Administrative staff. Truck drivers. Warehouse managers. Even barbers who cut port workers' hair. She visits El Corte Perfecto on a Tuesday. Talks to Manny Delgado. Nice guy. Been cutting hair in the neighborhood for 15 years. Knows half the port workforce personally. No criminal record. Community leader. Sponsors Little League teams. You hear anything unusual? Torres asks. Workers talking about missing cargo? Security problems. Manny shakes his head. People complain about work all the time. Nothing specific. You think someone here was involved? Just covering all angles, Torres says. She gets her hair trimmed while they talk. Manny's professional. Skilled. Asks about her job, her family. Makes good conversation. Tips him well. Walking out, Torres thinks about community connections. How criminals blend in. How they build trust. How they hide. Never occurs to her that the man who just cut her hair stole $100 million 3 feet from where she's sitting. They were looking for a criminal mastermind, not a community barber. Manny's sitting on $110 million. Most criminals would buy cars, chains, houses. Show off. Live large. Celebrate. That's exactly how you get caught. Manny keeps driving his 2009 Honda Accord. Same apartment. Same routine. Same $15 haircuts. Nothing changes on the surface because everything's changing underneath. He's learned from watching his customers get arrested over the years. Drug dealers flash cash and draw attention. Money launderers buy expensive toys and trigger audits. Criminals celebrate success and create evidence. Smart money stays invisible. Manny starts buying businesses. Small ones. Cash-heavy ones. Places where extra income looks normal. First purchase. Food truck in Little Havana. La Esquina Sabrosa. Owner wants to retire. Manny pays cash. Truck makes legitimate money selling Cuban sandwiches to construction workers. Also washes $50,000 monthly through fake sales receipts. Next, beauty salon in Westchester. Hair today. Owners struggling with rent. Manny becomes silent partner. Salon serves real customers. Processes real transactions. Perfect cover for cryptocurrency conversion operations. Auto repair shop in Homestead. Convenience store in Kendall. Laundromat in Coral Gables. Each business legitimate. Each business profitable. Each business cleaning dirty money while making clean profits. His barbershop becomes mission control. Customers still come for haircuts. They also bring information. Market intelligence. Law enforcement gossip. Personal secrets that become leverage later. Fernando still complains about port security. David still dreams about expanding his shipping business. New customers include cops, lawyers, accountants, city officials. All talking. All sharing. All feeding Manny's growing database of useful connections. But Manny's not just laundering money. He's building new revenue streams. Identity theft operation through the beauty salon. Customers leave purses unattended. Stylists photograph driver's licenses, credit cards, social security numbers. Information gets sold to document forgers for $500 per identity. Cryptocurrency fraud through the auto shop. Mechanics install skimming devices in customer cars. Collect credit card data from gas stations, ATMs, shopping centers. Use data to buy crypto, convert to clean cash. Rare metals smuggling through the convenience store. Legitimate import business brings in electronics from China. Mixed in with legal components. Stolen catalytic converters, precious metal scrap, computer chips. Sells to recyclers and manufacturers at huge markups. Each operation generates steady income. More importantly, each operation stays below law enforcement radar. No violence. No drugs. No territory disputes. Just quiet, profitable crime disguised as legitimate business. Manny's network grows. Employees become recruiters. Customers become informants. Business partners become unwitting accomplices. Everyone making money. Everyone invested in keeping quiet. The genius is diversification. If one business gets investigated, others keep running. If one revenue stream gets disrupted, others compensate. No single point of failure. Law enforcement looks for criminal organizations. Hierarchies. Territories. Signatures. Manny's built something different. A community of businesses that happen to commit crimes. Looks like entrepreneurship. Feels like success. Functions like organized crime. By 2021, Manny's washing $2 million monthly through legitimate businesses, making another $1 million through side operations, all while cutting hair 6 days a week and maintaining his reputation as a neighborhood success story. The $110 million from the container? Now worth over $200 million through careful investments and compound growth. But Manny's biggest asset isn't money. It's invisibility. No law enforcement agency considers him a threat because no law enforcement agency knows he exists. 2021. Agent Torres is reviewing financial intelligence reports when she spots something weird. Cryptocurrency transactions with South Florida origins. Always different wallets. Always different amounts. But same pattern. Same sophistication. Someone's moving serious money through the system. Clean conversions. Multiple jurisdictions. Professional-grade laundering. This isn't random, she tells her team. Someone's running coordinated operations. She maps the transactions. Bitcoin to Monero. Monero to Swiss accounts. Swiss accounts to legitimate businesses. Food trucks. Beauty salons. Auto shops. All cash-heavy. All recently purchased. All in Miami-Dade. Torres starts connecting dots. These businesses should be struggling in a recession. Instead, they're thriving. Reporting unusual profits. Paying taxes on income that doesn't match foot traffic. She gets warrants. Subpoenas bank records. Requests business licenses. Builds a financial profile of suspicious activity. But every time she gets close, evidence disappears. Shell company dissolves overnight. Corporate registration expires. Bank accounts close with zero balances. Cryptocurrency wallets empty and vanish. Witnesses claim ignorance or simply disappear. Someone's watching us, Torres realizes. They know what we're investigating before we investigate it. She's right. Manny knows exactly what she's doing. Has known since her first subpoena. How? His customers. Detective Martinez comes in every Wednesday. Works Financial Crimes Unit. Always stressed about cryptocurrency cases he can't solve. Complains about federal agencies stepping on local jurisdiction. Mentions Torres by name. Describes her theories about coordinated money laundering. Agent Wilson gets his hair cut monthly. Homeland Security. Handles port security investigations. Still frustrated about that container theft from 2019. Talks about new leads, new suspects, new surveillance operations. Attorney Patricia Mendez stops by twice a month. Works prosecutor's office. Discusses upcoming indictments, grand jury proceedings, witness protection programs. Treats Manny like a therapist. Shares everything. Each haircut is an intelligence briefing. Each tip is payment for classified information. Manny's customers are unknowingly reporting their own law enforcement activities. When Torres subpoenas business records, Manny knows within 24 hours. Shuts down operations. Moves money. Changes shell companies. Eliminates evidence before warrants get served. When Wilson plans surveillance on suspected money laundering sites, Manny gets advance warning. Adjusts schedules. Routes transactions through different businesses. Stays 3 steps ahead. When Mendez prepares indictments against cryptocurrency criminals, Manny modifies his own operations. Avoids patterns that trigger investigations. Updates security protocols. The ultimate irony: law enforcement is funding their own surveillance. Every $15 haircut subsidizes the intelligence network tracking their movements. Torres knows someone's leaking information. Runs internal investigations. Polygraphs staff. Changes procedures. Reviews phone records. Finds nothing suspicious. Because there's nothing suspicious to find. No secret meetings. No encrypted communications. No money changing hands. Just normal customers getting normal haircuts from their trusted neighborhood barber. We're dealing with someone who's either incredibly lucky or incredibly connected, Torres tells her supervisor. Maybe both, he says. By 2022, Operation Ghost Ship has consumed millions in resources. Multiple agencies. Hundreds of investigators. Thousands of hours. 0 arrests. Torres gets promoted to senior special agent. Still assigned to the case. Still chasing patterns that dissolve when she gets close. Still interviewing witnesses who remember nothing useful. Still getting her haircut at El Corte Perfecto every few months. Still tipping Manny $20. Still sharing details about her most frustrating cases with someone who actually listens. Manny always gives excellent advice. Stay persistent. Trust the process. Justice takes time. 2024. 5 years since the container disappeared. Agent Torres reviews the case file one more time. Operation Ghost Ship. $4.2 million spent. 347 interviews conducted. 23 different agencies involved. 12 countries contacted. 0 arrests. 0 indictments. 0 prosecutions. The case officially remains open. Unofficially, everyone knows it's dead. We're dealing with someone who doesn't exist, Torres tells her replacement. Ghost in the machine. Perfect crime, perfect criminal. She's wrong about one thing. The criminal does exist. He's cutting hair right now. Manny's at El Corte Perfecto, same chair, same routine. Wednesday regular just left. Next appointment in 20 minutes. Cuban coffee brewing in the back. Merengue playing on the radio. His network now spans 3 continents. Operations in Miami, Toronto, Amsterdam. Money flowing through 47 different businesses. Real estate investments in 12 cities. Cryptocurrency mining farms in rural Georgia. Legitimate tech company partnerships in Silicon Valley. Total value, just over $300 million. Manny still drives his Honda Accord. 2009. 180,000 miles. Needs new tires. He could buy a Ferrari dealership but won't upgrade to a Camry. Discipline keeps you alive. Same apartment in Hialeah. Same neighbors. Same problems with the air conditioning. Landlord still doesn't know his tenant is worth more than most Fortune 500 CEOs. Community sees Manny as a success story. Local boy made good. Sponsors 3 Little League teams. Donated new uniforms, equipment, field lighting. Kids wear jerseys with El Corte Perfecto logos. Parents think he's generous. He is generous. Just not with his own money. Free haircuts for elderly residents. Thanksgiving dinners for homeless families. Scholarship fund for local high school graduates. Always giving back. Always visible. Always trusted. 6 days a week, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., Manny cuts hair. Listens to problems. Offers advice. Builds relationships. Maintains the facade that's kept him free for 5 years. His customers include 3 FBI agents, 5 DEA investigators, 2 federal prosecutors, and the current head of Port Everglades Security. They tip well. Share information freely. Trust him completely. None of them realize they're funding the largest criminal organization in South Florida history. Manny's operation now generates $15 million annually through legitimate businesses and $8 million through criminal activities. Money gets reinvested, laundered, multiplied. Empire keeps growing. But the most valuable thing he owns isn't money or businesses or real estate. It's his reputation. Neighborhood barber. Community leader. Trusted friend. The perfect cover for the perfect criminal. Don't subscribe, and you'll join the millions who turn away and let guys like Manny keep winning. Or subscribe now, and at least know the game they're playing. 5 years later, Agent Torres still gets her haircut at El Corte Perfecto. Still discusses her cases. Still trusts her barber. Still has no idea she's looking for the man holding the scissors. Manny listens. Nods sympathetically. offers encouragement. Don't give up, he tells her. Sometimes the best criminals are hiding right in front of you. So what do you do with this information? Manny's still out there. Still cutting hair. Still running a $300 million criminal empire. Still untouchable. And honestly, he probably always will be. This isn't a story about justice winning. It's a story about evolution. Criminals adapt faster than law enforcement. While cops chase drug dealers with guns, guys like Manny steal fortunes with paperwork. Think about your own life. Your barber. Your mechanic. Your accountant. People you trust because they're supposed to be invisible. Background characters in your story. What if they're not? Here's what should keep you awake tonight. Manny succeeded because people trusted him. Real trust. 15 years of genuine relationships. He didn't fake caring about his customers. He actually cared. That's what made him dangerous. The question isn't whether you can spot a criminal. The question is whether you can spot a criminal who doesn't want to be spotted. Someone who builds real relationships for fake reasons. Someone who earns trust to exploit trust. Your barber remembers your kids' names. Asks about your job. Knows your schedule. Shares your problems. That's good customer service. It's also perfect intelligence gathering. What would you do if you discovered your barber's secret? Call the police? Confront him? Pretend you never figured it out? Most people would do nothing. Because most people can't handle discovering that someone they trust has been lying for years. It breaks something fundamental about how we see the world. Manny understood that. Counted on it. Weaponized it. The FBI spent 5 years looking for a mastermind. Found a barber instead. Couldn't reconcile the two. Couldn't believe that someone cutting hair for $15 could steal $110 million from a cartel and get away with it. But that's exactly why he got away with it. Some crimes succeed not because they're complicated, but because they're too simple to believe. Sometimes the most dangerous person in the room is the one you never consider dangerous. Check out next week's case if you want to see how far this goes. Trust me, you won't see it coming.